What's going on, everybody? Today's April 10th, 2023, daily review episode number 3. In this video, I just wanted to recap today's price action since it was a little bit more difficult than usual, and just point out some of the things that I saw throughout the day. So as you may or may not know, Friday was a bank holiday, so we got cut short halfway throughout the day. And typically bank holidays equate to a choppy AM morning session on the following day. So since it was Friday that we had the bank holiday, we expect the morning AM session to be choppy. And as you can see right here at 7 a.m. roughly on Monday, we did have this large displacement downwards, which is before the AM session. So since we had the bank holiday and a large pre-market move, that just layers onto the fact that we expect the AM session to be choppy. If you look at the 15-minute chart, we just chopped around, as you can see. So first I just want to go over the AM session macros, including the silver bullet setup. So if you look at the 1 hour, we have this sell side liquidity pool, which was my interest during the day that we would get down and tap that. We actually did not tap that throughout the entire day. It's still left as sell side, so I'd be looking tomorrow and the rest of the week, maybe CPI to short into that. Okay, right here we have the 950 macro start. So we're going to identify our two interests. We need a fair value gap, and we need buy side or sell side liquidity that hasn't been tapped yet. The only fair value gap that I was interested in at this point, since we disrespected this sibi that's located right here, this sibi was disrespected as we traded through it and then came back and tapped it. So I wanted to see that as an inversion and use it as support. There's only one fair value gap that I'm seeing, and that was this one from the 939 candle. So you draw that out in space. I want to use this as an entry, and then untap liquidity typically would be the sell side here, but since we failed to take the sell side out on the 930 open and we displaced away and then use this as an inversion block, I'm assuming that we want to take out these fair value gaps as well as all of this buy side liquidity that's resting up here. So we'll just mark out this as our buy side liquidity for our macro target. And if you play it, we got our entry right here at 953. Start to displace away. We have this big candle that goes through the fair value gap, but our stop loss should be resting below this low, and we don't actually tap the stop loss at all. It's protected by like 1 point, and you can see displace away up towards the previous high right here at 945, and then we eventually do take the buy side right here, which is good. Then we continue onwards. Actually, let's go back to here. So we did take out that buy side, but during this macro, we also have another setup that's forming, which is the silver bullet. And we want to see a couple things. So after 10 a.m., we want to see displacement towards a certain way. And in this case, the displacement was upwards. And then we also want to see two fair value gaps getting filled. So while this macro is going on, we're also looking for the silver bullet. And we do have one fair value gap that's filled right here. This buy side liquidity or buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. And then we also do have, we're waiting for our second fair value gap. So we wait, buy side gets taken there, and if you're still looking for your silver bullet setup, we do actually retap this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, this fair value gap, and that can be used as your silver bullet entry. And if you use the top of this fair value gap as your entry, then you want to be targeting 5 points, which would be right here. So if we draw a line out and you enter it on this fair value gap, we should get our displacement for our silver bullet setup right there, which is good. So that's two setups in this choppy market. I didn't actually see or take either one of these since I was expecting the AM session chop. And then next up we have the 1045 or 1050 to 1110 macro. We do have a fair value gap lower for the 1050 to 1110 macro that gets filled right here. So now we're going to wait for displacement upwards. I'm expecting this high to be taken out. Oh, we also have this fair value gap as well. I didn't see this. Tap it once, we displace, 5 points. That's our ends model. And then we should get this high as well taken out. Yep, this high gets taken out. That's our 1050 macro, sorry. Lunch hour, we just head upwards, taking out the buy stops. I really had no interest in any of this or the PM session, as we basically just chopped in this 9-point range up and down. PM macro is what I was interested in. If you go back to the 15-minute chart, we had this. Let's go to 315. So if you look at the 15-minute chart before the 315 to 345 PM macro, I'm seeing two things on the 15. That would be this untapped buy side, but if you narrow that down, there's also this this high right here that I'd be interested in to be taken out. That's untapped liquidity, as everyone who was short from Sunday and from the Monday open at 5:30 a.m. Monday AM session would be trailing their stop losses here and here. So that's my target for the PM drawn liquidity. And then we do have this untapped fair value gap, unfilled fair value gap, resting below. So if you look, the buy side resting above here is only 5 points away, while the consequent encroachment of the fair value gap is 13 points away. So I wouldn't expect price to come all the way down into here and then run all the way back up, because for me that's too much volatility, especially in a day where it's basically been doing nothing. So if we drop down to a 5-minute, we also have the same exact buy side liquidity or buy side fair value gap, but we also, something closer is we have this fair value gap right here, which that would be my interest to long into the buy side with the stop loss below here. And if we refine that down, you can make it a little bit smaller, keep going from the 5 down to the 1. And here's your 1-minute fair value gap. So we're going to be interested in longing from here and targeting up here this buy side liquidity. And if you have your new week opening gaps annotated, so if you annotate those, that's something that's good that you should have on your chart. Drop back down to the 1 minute and we'll see how this plays out. So macro starts 315, interested from 315 to 345 for our opportunity into the untapped liquidity. And we do tap into it right here. This is our long entry, stop loss as outlined, and we're targeting at least 5 points, which would be right here, this high, as some partials, as well as these targets above. So if you see this play out, we displace higher, get our 5 points tagged, and by 4 p.m. we have this huge up candle or 3:59 actually, 3:59 p.m. we go all the way up, we tap this buy side liquidity that's resting right here, as well as right here, and then if you look, we do actually eventually go all the way up into the new week opening gap. So that's today's recap. If you want my daily bias, it'll be in the Discord for the Patreon members for tomorrow. If you want to join that, just go ahead. Or if you just want some extra help with trading, links will be in the description for the public Discord and the Patreon. I'm pretty sure ICT is live streaming tomorrow at 9:15 Eastern in the morning, so make sure to check that out. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, Lord willing, for another recap video. And good luck and good trading, everyone.